Well, they're in here canning tomatoes.
Oh, good grief, look at him. That thing's gonna bug me to death yet.
How many tomatoes you got canned there, Wilma?
Huh?
How many you got canned?
Got 7 canned and 7 more to go, right?
I guess they're canned. Oh,
You
have it
wanna see
uncover
them?
them down here, yeah. These not cans, they're the jars.
Well, jarred.
Oh,
Something like
you
I
got how
7
many-
jarred.
7. Oh, you got some tomatoes that are jarred. Well, there they are.
7 jars.
You're jarring tomatoes. Here's Steve. He's laughing over there about something. How you doing, Steve? Good.
Get him high.
Yeah. Kind of speechless. This thing has a habit of making people kind of speechless. But are you glad to be back in Charlotte, aren't you?
Yep, sure am.
That's great. How the kids doing? The wife?
You know he had an 18-year-old son.
18 years old? Wow. Time does get away, don't it?
Sure does.
18? I
I
thought you were only 25 years old.
That's right. Start early.
Golly. Well, there's some.
Well, you know, just yesterday, Steve, he was just about this big.
Well, it seems like it. So was I.
Well, that's right. I was
Hadn't been long.
I was too one
And
time.
there's Vita over
I
there.
believe I was.
She's in here giving Wilma a hand. Won't you
She's
give
giving
Wilma a
me-
hand there, Vita? Atta girl.
She's giving me moral support. That's what she's doing.
Oh, look at these tomatoes.
She's giving me moral support. That's what she's doing.
You know something? Look at this thing.
They're going to be able to enjoy these tomatoes.
Yeah, in jar.
Jar.
I'm going to make soup and spaghetti and lasagna and everything else.
All kinds of goodies.
Every kind of goodies.
Well, that's good.
That's lid. That's jars, in case you don't know.
Okay, this is jar.
Jars.
Oh, that's where you're going to
This is
jar the
jars.
tomatoes.
Jars.
Okay.
Don't know what the tomatoes in.
All right.
You reckon I'll ever get an hour there?
Yeah,
Hey, you reckon we better go home and jar some tomatoes?
we might need to go home and enjoy some tomatoes.
Here's
Well,
how to do it, man.
If I can get you to quit taking naps long enough.
well, I'm either taking a nap or taking videos.
Right.
Some one or the other. This video wears me out.
I can see where it works. It wears me out. The way he could get used to
Where was you used to live? Where did you live before you came back down to Charlotte? See? Which town?
Before you came back in Charlotte.
Lived in Memphis for 8 years. And
Memphis?
Tupelo, and then
Where?
Shreveport,
Tupelo.
Mississippi.
Tupelo? Tupelo what?
Mississippi.
It was Tupelo, Mississippi.
Then he went to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh. I don't understand what is to below what? I mean, the...
Yeah, Tupelo, Zulu.
That's about how small it was.
But how cold it was.
Anyway. Well, Charlotte's a great place, really. It's getting too big. But like you said, if you live stay on your own side of town, it's not too bad.
Well, I thought we were going to the east side of Charlotte.
Oh, look at these tomatoes here.
Only time I go there is on Friday to work.
You know, these are not homegrown, but they're grown up in the mountains in North Carolina.
They're mountain grown.
Yeah, mountain grown.
Mountain grown.
I bet Ms. Olson would have a fit over there.
Oh,
Mountain grown coffee.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to turn this thing off. Wilma, you got anything to say about that?
No, turn it off.
You want to turn it off?
Turn it off.
Give me a click. Okay, we're jarring the tomatoes.
Good job.
Enjoy.
Well, look at that one. Look how beautiful red that is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad tomatoes are not red, I mean purple.
That was paper, man. That's nice.
It's like a heart transplant. You got to be in. Got to work till you get it done in a hurry. A bypass or something.
What'd you say?
It's just like having surgery. You know, you got to get the job done quick.
When we get these tomatoes put up, we'll work on hemorrhoids.
You're so right. Might do that.
Well, they're really at it.
You gonna draw them in?
Go and charge it.
Rob in.
Oh man.
I'll have my little. Oh, it's still in my ear. But you show these pictures just in the body. I don't want a job. I don't want a job. And you
Okay.
did? No. But you need to show these in the body. We don't want a job.
Okay, well that's so much for jarring tomatoes.
I was getting my hair done and he said, oh, I ain't gonna show this to nobody, and it's been sitting coast to coast.
You ought to put on the side of those tomato things there and say these have been jarred.
In jar.
In jar.
This tomatoes have been in jar.
In jar. I-N-J-U-R-A-D.
Okay, so much for this.
Very much for this.
Beautiful.
Hey,
Where was it you saying we went fishing down there at one time? Cherry Grove?
No, on Ocean Island.
Ocean Isle, that's where it was, yeah.
Between Cherry Grove and Ocean Drive.
Yeah, that's the time we caught all those blues.
Yeah.
Okay. And here John over here.
What's the name
fishing
of
now.
that
They're going fishing
beach
now.
where Jake Von Hart?
Some of these fish stores as big as that trout, he caught.
In between Cherry Grove.
little fish with big tail.
Yeah, big tail. Little fish with big
Caught
tail.
one that long.
Holy. Well, we had some good time down there. What I'd like to do is raft. You know, I remember Pop talking about when he lived down there in below Pineville.
Yeah.
About when he wanted to go up to Charlotte and get in a buggy and had to put a lantern up under a blanket to keep warm and go up there into Charlotte and back and take all day. You remember anything about that?
Yeah, we leave about 4 o'clock in the morning, get back about 10 at night.
You remember going up there with?
Drive so used, hitched a wagon.
Well, you went in a wagon, not a buggy.
So once in a while we went back.
Huh.
Depending on what we wanted to get.
That was Sunday use, wasn't it? The buggy was for Sunday use.
Yeah, more or less. Visiting.
You can get all the kids in a buggy.
It wasn't the buggy, we had a service.
You know.
Had the tossers all around.
Yeah,
tossers
sorry.
all around.
Sorry.
The fringe on top?
Yeah.
Have an iron. That's something.
Bob's dad was Ralph on the bicycle, motorcycle, went down to the river. Oh, when he couldn't make the curve with Daddy.
That was that over in Cremerton.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
I mean,
no. It was
Cremer's
over
Mountain.
It was over
Belmont.
in Cremerton over there coming down that.
Yeah, he showed me the road where he was on over there, come around.
What you doing? What popping head?
I don't know who was.
Who was on the motorcycle with
He
him.
had the old motorcycle. They were working over there in Mecklenburg County. So the old bridge out there where they just built it, a new bridge across there,
Across the
across Talk River.
yeah.
We lived then over to old Cato place down in South Fork. They were coming home one night. Ed was sitting on the seat in the back of him and holding to him. And it was gravel road. It wasn't paved. It didn't have paved road then like it did now. But anyhow, they did a hole. And they did it, bounced it up. It just kept on going up. Dad run out front.
Oh, boy.
He didn't basically cut all the way up down.
Good gosh. Oh, boy, that's something. You and Wilma were born at the same house?
Right. Not the same year.
I mean, not the same year, of course. Wilma was a twin. Yep.
On top of the hill?
No, down there on Neely's.
No, I was up on top of the hill over there.
Well, on top of
Mine was, where I was born
the hill. You're down in
You were right there across from where Uncle Neely used to live, Uncle Shorty.
Right down.
I remember that old
Yeah,
house.
you were born over to old Cato place.
Up on top of the hill over there where they built the new dam.
Yeah, now it's
The bridge.
On the
got water all the way around it now. No, it had high going on back up where it just covered 3 sides.
You see
Yeah.
where they're making that big.
And Mama lived over there on the highway.
Yeah, I
And
was over
those
there.
lots, did you see how much they sold for, from 40 to what, 300,000 or something? It's a terrible amount.
Where's that?
Cramerton.
Oh,
They're building that development away.
is that right? Well, Ralph, y'all ever remember, you remember ever getting a picture of the place where Mom was born?
That's
That old,
on
that old log cabin?
No,
That
it was-
curve, it's on that curve.
On the curve of where I was
Across the
born.
river.
Yeah, what that curve wasn't in there, cause that,
Oh, the road ran right straight
They moved
behind
it.
the house, well, didn't it?
no,
I remember that old log cabin in
The
there.
old
road
road
did.
then come in front of the house up there, but then they come in there and come around to keep that,
Yeah,
eliminate the hill.
yeah.
So the new road came around the back of the house.
You never did get a picture of it, did you?
No, didn't have counting back then. The
Yeah.
house was torn down about,
It wasn't too, I mean, I remember seeing the house many times. I went by and kept thinking that
oh,
I'd go back and get a picture of it, and I
None
never
of the
did.
houses are still standing, but any of us
Yeah.
were born in except yours.
Yeah. How about that? Well, there's Mary Jean over there.
I don't think you'll find even a log over those houses over in there in those hills.
We just go take pictures of the land. So,
Put up a monument, Dave.
John was born here.
Yeah. I'd always shake them up.
Abraham Lincoln Monument.
Yeah.
That was
Nancy
Hanks. Miss Hanks. Well, I want to ask
tell you
Geneva
about
about.
that.
I want to ask Geneva about
She can tell
that.
you about that one.
She's right over here.
Huh?
Jenny, you ever did see that big monument down there?
No,
That light's a little bit too bright, so that's why I'm moving.
Road?
You ever see that monument? That was Hanks. That was Lincoln's
Nancy
mother,
Hanks.
Nancy Hanks.
It was Nancy Hanks's uncle lived there, I think.
Oh, was it? I thought it was Lincoln's mother.
Well, she
That's what the monument
just
said.
visited there, I
Said
think.
there's something about that she lived there and she moved to Tennessee and then into Ohio and she's some relation of Abraham Lincoln back in there somewhere.
It was Abraham Lincoln's I don't know,
Grandmother or
mother
something?
or grandmother or something.
Third cousin.
Yeah,
Oh.
something.
Well, it was some kind of. It was on Nancy Hanks or something like that. I remember
that
correctly.
was still standing over there now.
It
Well,
probably is.
I bet that monument's still there.
Yeah, it's there. The
It's
Stoves
probably
put it up, so I imagine it's still there.
No, it was that, before the stoves threw down there.
I know it was, but the Stove family
Oh,
put it up.
Oh, the Stowe family put it up?
Uh-huh.
Well, I darn.
That's all built up down there now.
Actually, that old conifer Geneva has over there was originally in the Stowe family. Who was her cousin.
Which stove, Ralph?
She can tell you.
Which stove was it?
My grandfather and Miss Bob Stowe, they were first cousins.
How about your relationship to Abraham Lincoln?
Well, I don't know. I'm not in it, I know.
You're not going to admit it, huh?
Or wasn't the Hanks that they were talking about on the monument some
Yeah,
relation, something like that?
Father called him, they call him cousin, I believe. He was used to people kept up with their kinfolks more, and it was
That's
a
right.
distant, and they were a little kin.
That's all
The
they had
same,
to do then, didn't it?
yeah, it was the same thing, you
Right.
know.
Well, doesn't that the monument down there near Belmont? Doesn't it have a Nancy Hanks on it or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Abraham Lincoln's mother. I think.
Wife or his mother?
His
Who's his mother?
wife's
His
name
name
was
is Nancy
Nancy.
Hanks. His wife was 19.
Well, maybe that was it. I
His
don't
first
know.
wife, Abraham Lincoln
Did
had
he
two
have
wives.
one wife?
They didn't really get along.
Two
did they?
wives. He had two wives. Lincoln.
Same time.
No, one was the same time. No, the second one was, what was her name? She was the aristocrat.
She was Miss Lincoln.
Yeah. They went into the White House with her. But Nancy was the first wife.
Well, I
I didn't know that. I can't remember that.
Vita,
That's it. That wasn't in my history book.
It was too.
Geneva's last name was Hanks before she was married.
I gathered.
You gather that? Okay. I just want to fill you in on that. Bring you up to
That was my favorite
that.
too.
Mine was Cochran.
What?
Cochran.
Copper.
Cochran.
What'd you say her name was, Bob?
And you know,
Cochran.
like my next
Todd
door
Hopkins.
neighbor is a Hank.
I didn't. I
You said
didn't
Todd
dare say
Hopkins.
that.
Two Hanks, I think it's three in the phone good. And one of them is Hall's son, you know, Smitty. And the other one is, a real estate man here. And then Sally. It's really funny, we live next door to us. She calls me cuz.
Because
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see these pictures now.
Yeah,
I've
well,
been on enough of these things. I don't need to be more.
Yeah, hey, Bob, those toes down there, you ought to get them to say the end.
the
Down there
end.
on the toes down there.
Oh, there.
Right
down
down
underneath
those
those Catos, right down here,
Those
underneath
tables
that.
say the end.
There they are. Those are Catos.
K-toes.
Potatoes. His toes.
And that's the Cato those Catos belong to, or formerly Cato, I mean.
There's some more things over here.
Just go take your shoes off.
Yeah, I got some.
4 inch.
There's some more
She got
Catos over
6
there.
toes on that foot, Bob. You know
There's some
that?
Catos. Yeah, I know that.
My big toe's 4 inches long.
She can plant corn faster that way. Dig the holes with.
It's for climbing trees.
Oh man.
We had a water tank in our backyard. And
What kind?
a water tank,
I'm with you.
it had a
Not where we
big
live now.
pipe. No, I'm talking about when I was a kid. We lived on a plantation, and we had down the hill there was a ram. You know what a ram is? It pumps water.
Something with horns.
One of the things, great big old horn.
No, this was a ram. You could hear it all during the night going, choo, choo, choo.
It's around with the plunger to
Right.
push the water up.
Yeah.
But anyway, it pumps water uphill into that tank.
You mean y'all had electricity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
really?
what was generated, we call it the dynamo. But anyway, the reason my toes is like they are, we had this narrow water pipe that went up.
You used to walk on the water pipe.
No, we used to climb it. I climb it with my toes.
Had one toe on top and one on each side of it like this.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna ask Ralph one more thing here. Did you ever go seining with Pop down there in Sugar Creek, down in Pineville? Is that where he used to go seining? He kept telling me about he did a lot of seining for fish over in there when he lived in
You
Pineville.
remember that? Well, Uncle Lee.
Uncle Lee,
Glover
too.
used to live, Lee Glover,
Yeah,
who was a brother of Mom.
Shorty?
yeah.
He
Mom.
lived right in that curve going toward Fort Mill.
Yeah.
He was also the policeman in Pineville.
Mm-hmm.
And just right alongside it, just the edge of Pineville, that creek came down there, flooded all that whole flood in there. We used to go over and sing. I was just a little kid, followed along.
Pineville had a policeman then.
Oh yeah.
It actually hadn't grown much in the last,
But Ralph,
last
he was
60 years.
he was the police force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ralph, they went to the South Fork down there.
I was about 5 years old back then, and my memory of Pineville is Dad used to take me over there to the doctor about once a week. He'd take me back in the back of the drugstore. And I think that old drugstore is still there. Had a shelf back there where they mixed up the med. They laid me up on that shelf reopen that side where they had to cut the hole in there to drain my lung there when I had fluorescence. But I remember, they didn't have an anesthetic back then. But he'd take that off and open that up so it could keep draining.
Good gracious. Yes,
They used to do a lot of
You
singing
know,
back
that,
then.
I had the same thing done. I had double pneumonia.
Well, I did too.
And they put 2 tubes. They took out part of my rib and put 2 tubes in
Well,
it.
that's what I got right here. I got a hole right there in the side now.
I've got one in my back, and every week I have to go and they pull that tube out a little further and cut it off. But actually, and they just put a piece of gauze over that. It's the one that had got all kind of trash and stuff there down in that hole
Where were you raised?
in Alabama.
Yeah, that's where it was. Except I just had this.
In Alabama?
Wait a minute, back up a little bit and let me reassess this thing. What did I say?
Yeah.
That's where it was.
That's where it was.
She was talking about
Well, that's where it was.
Ralph, they asked her where she was from. She said at Alabama. You said,
wait,
yeah, that's where it
back
was.
up. I didn't ask her where she's from.
Mary Jean did.
Oh, I knew I didn't do it. Get your story straight.
Where do you see this on VCR?
Oh, what?
Where do you see this on TV? Still on TV.
You mean he's making TV?
That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He did it well. He won't open his mouth more than
Uh-oh, he's going to climb up now.
Shall I zip it up and be done with it?
No way.
Too late. Too late now. You said enough. He's followed me around all day.
Well, living with Papa and them, I guess when Papa had a good stand of corn out in the flats there in the river bottom, and the rain came and flooded, he got up in the night, middle of the night, and walked out there. You remember that?
Do I remember?
Okay, tell us about it.
Dad and I were running the farm. Dad was doing carpenter work.
Well, where was
And
this? Where was
the
this?
river got up, and we thought we were going to get up on about 5 acres of bottom land down there. And the corn was planted about that close together and about 10 feet high.
Mm.
So we had a big old 16-foot flat bottom boat. So Ed and I got in there, and we started running down the rows of corn and pulling the corn off, bringing it back, throwing it up on the bank and going back. Well, we got about half of it picked, gathered before the wet water got up over it. And then after the water went back down off of it, we had to go back and pull the rest of it. Then we threw it up in the sun, let it dry a little bit, but we took it and sold it for hog feed before it soured.
But I remember Pop talking about walking into sleep one night down there.
Yeah, well,
What happened to that?
well, they never did know. He must have went visiting.
Well, what he said was,
Well, he got up the next morning, he had black mud all over his feet, legs, and the bed.
in the bed. And he said he followed his tracks all the way out into the cornfield, see where he'd been walking around in the cornfield.
He liked that big cornfield full of the prettiest corn you ever saw in your life.
That's amazing. He'd get out of bed, go down and walk around that cornfield, come back and get in the bed. Didn't even remember it.
You can imagine what Granny said.
Well, I'll tell you what she said. I got it on another videotape.
You have to know her to appreciate that.
And she said she woke up the next morning and she saw that mud and all over the floor and in the bed. She said, "Lord and mercy, Rob, where have you been?"
About to tell him.
Huh?
And he wasn't about to tell him.
Well, he didn't know. He said he didn't even remember going down there. He was bad about walking in his sleep.
Yeah,
So were you.
I wasn't the first or
Yeah, I
the
know. I
last.
remember I was just trying to climb out the upstairs window one night and Uncle Lee grabbed me before I got out.
Second floor.
Second floor.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, well, you were
You walked the
gone.
banisters around the steps up there, too.
Huh?
You walked those banisters around the steps.
was a-
Upstairs, the banisters that top the stairwell.
You mean that?
Him and Belmont.
I'd forgotten about
You
that.
did.
I was there, but I didn't know it.
You must not remember that one.
He was asleep.
Well, Mom and Daddy was talking about that several times. About Bob getting up in his sleep and walking that banister up
Well, you
there.
know, those kids over there, they're quite
And,
around.
I tell
He
you.
tried to climb out the window after he caught it.
Hit each other in the head with axes.
Who did that?
What a family.
I didn't hear this
He
one.
had hit me, I still got a hole in the
Well,
skull.
Bob bit me on the arm
What's
on
the
me.
name?
I still got a scar where he bit me.
Really?
Yeah.
When I was just a little tyke?
Tore up my fingers all
That's
over.
on Dad's back.
Good gracious.
Well, you know, Leon was chasing Curtis and Curtis went through the window there in Belmont and got through the window, and then he pulled the window down right quick, and Leon was coming right behind him. She went right through the window and broke it. Got cut. Oh,
I think
man.
we ought to have a reunion and let Bob
Show all these tapes.
show all these tales
Yeah.
he was telling.
I had a brother that.
Oh, I'll tell you, there's a lot more that could be
I don't
said.
think I'd let him.
I wouldn't either.
If you want to keep him around for a while.
No, I wouldn't do that.
It's life of being dangerous.
Yeah.
I do. Like,
I want to get around here. Albert hadn't had nothing to say listening to all this stuff.
I don't
Well,
have
what
nothing
happened to you
say.
when you were growing up?
I just
Don't
grew
get
up.
him started.
You have any such Karens on?
You think this is tails?
We had a very, you had a very calm
They living across
boyhood,
the river
huh?
over there.
Well, one of these days
Where I
we'll
was born, actually,
talk
and
about
she
that.
was too. But we, I nearly had an old mule that you kept around there. And, oh, he was scared of everything in the world. And he had blinds on, sticking out, couldn't see off to the side. So, I guess that's about 1960 or something like that, before you were born.
16. I would say 16.
15, about 15. And so some of them decided they wanted Coca-Cola.
Did they have Coca-Colas then?
Oh, yeah. Coca-Cola, that's about the only kind of soft drink you could get, orange or something back then. But anyhow, they wanted Coca-Cola, and there's a little old store up towards Sandy Plains Church, about halfway up there, which is some 3 or 4 miles, I guess.
You remember that?
And so I got on this old mule, no saddle, just bareback. Got me on the little burlap bags to go up there and put the cokes in. I rode her on up there to the store, got Coca-Cola. And so I think I got 10 or something like that. Put 5 in each end of the bag and tied one in the bag. Laid it across one on each side of it. So I started back down there. Taking it easy, wasn't going very fast. So, and an old dog was something coming across there and kind of halfway scared of the mule. She moved a little bit fast. Well, it rattled the bottles, and that kind of scared her. So she started running, taking off. And the bottles got jumping up and down and rattling. A couple of them broke and run down
Oh, good gracious.
through the bag and onto her and onto me. Well, it had a barn. It had a low door. I guess it wasn't 7 feet high. And there's a fence around all of there because somebody come along and left the gate open in the fence. Well, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't slow the mule down because she was scared to death. She just running. So she took out and she went in that door. And I just slid right off the back.
Coca-Colas and all.
Coca-Cola and all.
Yeah, it's some wild days, weren't they?
He's gonna write a Cato history, put all this in it. Yeah.
The video is a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna shut this off right there. Reunion down at Uncle Neely's. It's Uncle Shorty and Uncle Neely's the same guy.
Yeah.
Had to put you under the table all the time.
Yeah,
Put me under the table?
And Mama gave him a plate and gave it to him, and him sitting, and he and Louisa sit under the
Sit
table.
on the table.
Then,
Keep
you
out
can
of the
go
way.
food, you can check the ticket.
He'll get on the table, yeah.
And
I bet he does.
he still sits under the table.
Well, I didn't do that all the time. I remember those reunions real well.
And after we got through eating, they'd get the buggy and the horse out, and we'd take rides in the buggy and horse, and we'd take Take a ride on you, have more fun.
They had an old pump organ in that. It was that front part of his house was an old log cabin. They had to put boards over it or something, wasn't it? Pretty sure. Because I got photographs taken there of just still the old logs. But old photographs. I have to.
Good time down there. Don't
Yeah.
you remember, John?
Yeah.
When we were living down here at Plant Hill Church, Dad bought an old racehorse. He got about half blind in one eye, I think, and one bit. But of course, they couldn't use her on track anymore. But he had bought her just to ride around, but he didn't actually do much work. But he didn't have, Ed and I were really old then. I think Ed was about 10 and I was about 8. We got out, so he wouldn't let us do anything on Sunday afternoon, so we sat around and read or something like that. We could play, get out and play ball like
When
y'all
did
could later.
When did Dad get his first car?
Huh?
You remember when Dad got his first car?
First one?
Car.
Oh, yeah, they actually moved down there where Bob was from.
Anyway,
21.
I can remember going down there to Neely's in that Dad driving old forward car, and you know they were way high off the ground then they jumped the house. It was muddy, and it was Dad got stuck
Seems
up
like
in the mud.
every time we went down there, there was those ruts and mud.
They just get deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
And Dad got stuck up one day and had to go get some farmers' horses to pull us out.
What did you finish that story there, Ralph?
What?
What the other one you just said?
What I started to say, so we liked to ride that old horse, but we thought Dad had gone ahead, and I thought Dad had laid down on Sunday, we'd been to church, and he had on these knickerbocker pants, fancy.
I remember wearing some of those things. Great, I hated those
fancy
things.
ribbons, ties, something. We dressed up real slick, because we'd been to church up there that morning. So we got the old horse, and one mule out, we went riding. So there was a spring down between where the old house that we lived in, across the road, spring down to the foot of the hill there, and before they went up to the old glove home place. So we got down there and we decided to race up and down through those woods in the road. So, of course, we knew we couldn't be caught. We had to get those horses back in before the air was up to the can. So we went and rode out down. I was riding an old racehorse. And I didn't know she'd stone and fall all over. But I got down there, there was a big mud hole about half as big as, that horse come up to that mud hole. When he did, he stoned and then stopped. Threw me right over the head with all my knives and you go right in the middle of that mud.
Yeah, just like something would happen in a movie.
I'll let you figure what happened.
I can see what Miss Stelly
Well,
did.
you didn't
I know what Miss Stelly did.
you didn't do what like Pop did one time. He told me he tried to get the old horse to move one time, get up, go, and that horse wouldn't move and went up there and hit it upside the head with his fist, knocked that horse down to his knees. You ever heard that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Did he do that?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
He said it broke his wrist, but said the horse finally got up and he went on then. Pop was a pretty tough guy, Well, anyhow.
Yeah, he had a temper too.
Yeah, he did have a temper. He had a mighty tough leather strap too.
Tell me about
I can vouch for that. You know about that, don't you, John?
it. Tell me about it.
I didn't know y'all had any because it was worn out before it got down.
No.
Bought a new one, didn't he?
Oh,
Maybe
man.
replaced
He
it.
had 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. Well, Tom Ed and Ralph, Lambert and Curtis, and John and me, and I guess you gals caught it once in a while. I don't know about the leather strap. You got the hickory. Mom always made us go out and cut our own switches and come in.
I've hickored to you a lot of times.
And if you cut one that's too skinny and it broke, you had to go out and get another one. Start all over again.
Yeah. We got our share of them.
Yeah. Well, y'all want to talk? You know anything else you want to talk about? Old days, old times.
I think we better do a little bit of talking after that. You're showing me and all this mess.
Okay.
And where and when and how.
All right. What do you think about all that, Geneva?
I'm just listening.
You just listen? You remember some of that old stuff, don't you?
Not much of that.
Okay, I mean,
I've heard
old
it
days.
lots of times.
Yeah.
It gets different every time you hear it.
Well, I think it's just,
Made us some doubts about the truth of all this that's been going on.
no, I think it's, you know, it just gets embellished a little bit. Basically,
Yeah,
it's the truth.
it's embellished a lot.
But, it was something.
Well, they had enough in their family to make a city anyhow, didn't they?
Yeah, you know, took in another cousin, plus Grandpa Glover.
Grandpa was 12, but we said I need you. It was 12 of us.
My grandpa was there.
Well, you know that,
Grandpa was
Ern,
there, wasn't
No, that's 13, May 13.
how about Ernest Smith?
Huh?
Ernest Smith was there part of the time, too.
Not after we moved over there.
Yeah.
I don't
He was there
remember
like
him being at the table there, eating with us that much, except when he comes back into town.
Yeah. Okay, well, I cut this thing off now. Adios.
he? Well,
A reservoir, Chevrolet
You
Quebec.
cut it off back there now.
Ralph, Pop told me one time that he, when he lived in McAdenville, right? Where you remember living in McAdenville with him? No? Well, maybe he was just in that area.
How about
Did he
Crimmerton?
work over there or something?
How about Crimmerton?
He lived in Cramp.
Cramerton?
He was a maintenance man or something in Crimmerton, wasn't he, Ralph?
Hmm.
Repaired houses and so
No,
forth?
he was building houses over there.
Well, I got a little audio tape made years ago, just about the week before he died, that he told me about working or being in McAdenville when Buffalo Bill came through there. You remember anything about that?
Grandpa Cato, he was, I think, lived over there.
Mhm.
Before I knew anything about it.
Yeah. Well, maybe he was just mixed up, and his Grandpa Cato was telling him
well,
about.
I don't think he may have lived there with him.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's where Grandpa Cato moved to.
Well, maybe that's when he was a kid.
That's right.
Oh, that's probably what it was. Okay.
he saw
Really?
Buffalo Bill there.
He used to tell me he saw Buffalo Bill and his group come in there, and they set up coins and by a tree, and Indians with him would shoot the arrows at the coin. If they hit them, they get to keep them. That's what he told me.
Well, that could have been before.
Yeah,
he
that's
was
probably when he
married.
was a kid, when living over with Grandpa Cato.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, my grandfather Cato, our grandfather, when he came up from Georgia, that's where he went to live, was at Cato.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, one more thing. You remember where Pop met Mom? Where they met?
Well, they lived just across the branch from each other down there, on a new old road over there.
Uh-huh. Is that, I remember he said something about meeting her at a school or a church or something.
I don't know
A
where
school?
they met. I never did hear that, but she lived over there right, just across the fork. Lived in the house,
Mm-hmm. And he lived over the way.
and he lived across the branch back over on top of the hill.
Okay, maybe. Wilma, you remember something about that, don't you?
He told me that he met her at a church picnic or something, and she's sitting on the fence.
Yeah, that's what he told me. Well, maybe that's just the first time he had courage to speak to her,
Maybe so.
talk to her son.
But anyway,
Yeah. And there was a an old Dodge car going up toward Winston-Salem. I don't think you were with them, but you remember in detail about Esmer was driving when they wrecked that thing, about 8 or 10 other people in it.
That was Esmer driving, wasn't it?
Esmer driving.
Yeah,
after y'all
I remember
were
that.
that's right after we were married.
It was
I know, 'cause I got my knee cut. I
It
still
was
got
a
scars
paved road.
showing.
Let me see that knee.
Right there.
And
Right there?
Esmer was driving, I think
Oh.
about 16 minutes.
Okay.
That old Dodge.
Got a scar that, and it's like Ralph said, they didn't give me any special. They
No.
didn't put my knee up, they put me to sleep.
How many were in the car?
It was later 10.
Yeah. You remember hearing about it, didn't you, John?
Yeah, I remember about it.
You were in it? You remember when it happened?
I just vaguely I remember the thing. It was a dirt road, I know, there wasn't no paved roads at all.
Well,
It seemed to me like I remember a dirt road and something about
Around
it,
the
but
curve and it
very
was
vague to me.
Going too fast and hit the gas instead of the brake, I think.
Yeah, and it
something like
skidded a little bit on that gravel or something. Anyhow, nobody got hurt seriously. Thank goodness.
I got hurt.
Oh, yeah?
Now that you're
Wilma, was
showing
there something else we were going to ask him about? I guess
You want
that's
to show your scar, Wilma?
I think.
I showed my
she
scar.
showed
I
her
showed
scar. I think Ralph&Geneva
That's all
ought to be
I'm
able to
gonna
show
show.
theirs now.
I don't think Ralph was
Okay.
there. I don't think Ralph was with us that thing.
No.
We were packed in there, just tight as drum.
What's this shit doing?
She's just, she likes to be a newscaster or something. Hey, have you
You
heard
did.
Wilson?
Yeah.
I'm glad we had a chance to get, talk about some of this old stuff.
Who wants to remember it?
Well, I don't know. I know you kids would probably like to have it. I think that's the main thing. So maybe I can get a copy again. Made from this tape. Okay.
Anything you want to say, Ralph, about all this?
I can't say that they were good old days, can you?
No, that's we agreed
I
on
don't want
that.
to go back to those.
Good night, Miss Calabash,
Okay,
wherever
big
you
dog.
are.
Let's sign off. Okay.
Goodbye.
You want to turn you off?
Yeah.
We'll turn the camera off.